Good evening, campers, and welcome aboard the Starship Nightwish. I'm Commander Exorcist. It is Tuesday night, Taco Tuesday. This is where I take a few minutes to check out Galnet and see what is happening in the greater Elite Dangerous galaxy. Now tonight, first of all, in the past few weeks, I've done a couple of political-based articles because there has been some political intrigue and even some significant developments over the weekend regarding the Kane Massey and the Torval mining situation. They went to war, if you don't know. I kind of like that. I kind of like these companies in 3309 that they don't like each other. They just start fighting. They start shooting at each other. Can you imagine if Burger King had like a tank division? You know, McDonald's moves in on their territory and they just launch their tank assault, or Burger King tank assault. Anyway, ran over. But I decided to do something a little bit different. Tonight we're going to talk about salvation. No, not that salvation. We're going to talk about the man salvation. And salvation, if you don't know, is an ancient scientist who came forth kind of out of nowhere to build a superweapon. And his superweapon was designed to destroy the Thargoids once and for all. He did defeat the Thargoids for a few seconds before they managed to retaliate and destroy his ship. And the official narrative is that salvation is dead. Really? Well, shortly after his demise, graffiti started appearing in stations that declared that salvation lives, although the way it was painted and designed read more like Salvation Olives than Salvation Lives. But now there are theories popping up, conspiracy theories, I guess you could call them, that salvation somehow managed to save himself, his consciousness. Now, whether he transferred it to something else, we don't know exactly what happened, but the prevailing theory is that salvation was smart enough to realize that his weapon might not work and he may need to protect himself. And so even though his corporeal body is destroyed, his soul or his consciousness lives on somewhere, probably in some computer somewhere. And so that's been a prevailing theory related to some Azimuth. And it's just really, it's kind of convoluted, but this is the kind of stuff I like because I think salvation's alive. We're going to talk about that. So the Salvation Utopia link raises concerns. This is a follow-up article to another article where it basically was talking about the possibility that, salvation could be alive and that a lot of the technology that was used against the Thargoids in HIP 22460 was Guardian-based. And I would believe that. And we're gonna read through this and I'm gonna talk about it because I'm gonna share kind of a public secret with you as far as things like this. Anytime you have some kind of conspiracy like this. So we have Galnet article for today. Similarities between the Nemesis failsafe and Utopia's SIM archive have led to questions being asked about a possible connection. Independent journalist Flint Firemaker LaFosse reported on D2's recent discoveries. We all knew that Salvation had a Messiah complex, so it's no surprise that he planned to keep his colossal ego alive after his ancient body died. We all know that Pranav Antal has been digitizing his followers' brains for years. So the bias is immediate. Notice that the article doesn't reference his consciousness. It references his ego. And that's the trouble with the media. The media gets so wrapped around the ego and the personality of the people they're reporting on that they miss the facts. This should have read, if it was legitimate objective journalism, should have read about his consciousness, not his ego. His ego is inconsequential. It really is. Because ultimately, this would have been an act of his consciousness and his intellect. So, whether he believed himself to be great, he possessed some pretty extraordinary abilities. And so, digitizing brains. It's 3309, man. It shouldn't be a surprise to people they're digitizing brains. My question is, did Salvation modify Antal's system for his own private use, rather than reverse engineer Guardian technology? Or maybe Azimuth and Utopia were secretly working all this time, and the Sim archive has always been Guardian-based. It would explain how Utopia is able to maintain funding for its little tech bohemian commune. So, before we get to the critique, it seems like, and I haven't run into this in the community, but it seems like in the general population, in the Elite Dangerous Galaxy, it's taboo to discuss using Guardian technology for biological enhancements. We have no problem stitching together our technology with ancient, mysterious Guardian technology to build fighters and frameshift drive enhancers and weapons and everything else. But when it comes to using Guardian technology to enhance the human experience, now we don't talk about that. There's something weird there. And it's humanity has this kind of built-in fear of change and outside influence. And so it could be just the general sense that if we start messing with Guardian technology and, say, splicing genes and messing with digital brains and stuff like that, we risk opening some kind of Pandora's box. But I say that we've already done that by creating Guardian fighters. I use a Guardian fighter on the Nightwish, and I don't think twice about it. I've used it, experienced it, and I trust its capabilities. Do I think it could come alive and possibly try to kill me? It's possible, and I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. But at the moment, I think we've come far enough in our understanding of their technology, at least their technology. We still don't understand a lot about them, but we do understand their technology to make it safe. So this video is going to be a little bit longer than normal. Just hang in there with me. So this theory was critiqued by the Federal Times technology correspondent Harlow Nasri. It is a fact that most of Utopia's scientific development remains opaque, but the few inventions that have been examined, such as the nanomedicines acquired by Vitadyne Labs, contained no molecular markers of Guardian origin. The Sim Archive's memory recording techniques are based on exoneurological research conducted over hundreds of years, and that's a fair assessment. This stuff has been research into neurologic manipulation has been going on for centuries. So you could assume there's been no break in research from the early 2000s into the 3000s. I mean, this is thousands of years of research that's been compiled. So it is possible that a lot of that went into it, but I think it's interesting that they completely deny any Guardian influence. I do not believe for a moment that Utopia has not explored Guardian technology for neurologic enhancement. I don't buy that at all, because somebody like this, an organization like this, and they want to enhance themselves this way, they're going to look for every opportunity they can get, and this is a good one to look for. So I don't buy it. Same way I don't buy that, Azimuth and Aegis and the others. They're all involved, and they're all doing it. And I got a reason for that. I got a reason for believing that, so just stick with me. I am a conspiracy theorist by nature, but I have a reason for being that way. Good Lord, these names. You're killing me, Frontier. Dr. Maximo Fonseca, the Alliance's scientific liaison to Aegis, gave a statement to the media. Since successful applications in this field are so rare, we cannot ignore the potential relation between the Nemesis failure designs and the Sim archive. I have made contact with Simguru Pranav Antal and explained the situation. He kindly invited me and my staff to visit Utopia and discuss the matter. Our findings will determine whether a formal investigation into Salvation's current status is warranted. Okay. So, your average reader is going to look at that and go, oh, Antal, he's opening up his research in his center, and he's going to bring people in and physically show them what's going on, so there must not be anything nefarious going on. Everything's fine. Don't buy that stuff. It's pretty easy to paint over a wall. or hide a door or a room full of secret stuff and just kind of show all the good stuff on the surface. So I'm not a big fan of, we call them dog and pony shows. I'm not a big fan of those because they really don't show you the truth of what's going on underneath the surface. They're specialty shows designed to impress leaders who are so shallow and out of touch with what's going on in their organizations that they just have sparkly eyes and they go straight on and they don't think anything about it. Now, let's talk about salvation and the Guardian technology. I 100% believe that whether it worked or not, salvation had a failsafe of some kind. There had to be a failsafe. I do not believe, for all his ego, let's even go with the ego. If you want to talk about ego, and you want to talk about salvation's ego, and just the hatred that some people have for this man, if you think you're that good, and you know there's a chance that someone else might mess up, why wouldn't you prepare yourself the most amazing escape opportunity ever? If I'm this good, my ego is just so high, I don't have to blame myself if it goes wrong. I can just say, you know what? What if Jim over there puts the screw on too loose and the laser gets out of alignment and boom, we miss? That's fine. It isn't my fault. But I need to have a way out. And that's just a way out. Not just an escape pod floating in space, but some kind of epic way out that is true to the ego and the narrative of salvation. This is kind of a thought. I don't buy that he's dead. I really don't. Or I'll say this. I don't buy that he died in the explosion and the attack. I would be willing to bet that if he transferred his consciousness and he's dead, whatever he transferred it to failed. So it'll be interesting to see. But, you know, this kind of taboo on working with Guardian technology for enhancement of the human neurological experience, it's really interesting how we're so willing to and have no problem building weapons and fighters. But anytime that we bring Guardian technology near the brain, people panic. So it makes me think, and this is the point I was going to get to, and I promise not to go much longer, but this is different. This is different than some of my other videos. This is a serious moment because most of the time, they're not going to admit to doing these things, but they're probably doing them. If they ever do admit, let's say that Utopia comes out, Azimuth, Aegis, any of these come out and say, hey, we're working with Guardian technology and we've been able to enhance human neurological functioning with Guardian tech. I'd just like you to know that that is old technology. What you're getting presented is already outdated. There's already something else that's even more secret that they're developing that works. Because most of the time, what gets declassified has already been replaced by something else, something better, something trustworthy that works. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So if it ever comes out that these guys are using Guardian tech and that salvation is alive in a crystal somewhere, you know, maybe he reincarnated himself as a Thargoid snow globe and he's on somebody's dashboard flying through the war zone. I don't know. But who knows? But if this technology is revealed, it's going to be really something to see the possibilities for modification and engineering for commanders. But it's old technology. It always means there's something better coming, something more amazing that's already been discovered to the point where it makes this discovery kind of moot, not as special. It's something for the masses, something that the commoners can get out there and enjoy. So that's my thought. Salvation lives. These are the disciples. The disciples make this content and all my content possible. The channel has grown a lot in the last few weeks, and I appreciate all the support. Thank you for your continued support. And if you would like to support my work here on the channel and on social media in various places, go to patreon.com/Commander Exorcist. Patrons get a monthly vlog that is special, and you also get early access to playthroughs and other stuff that I'm working on that doesn't make it onto the main channel, or at least makes it onto the main channel much later. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you for your continued support. Watch your backs out there. We still have a war going on, even with all this conspiracy stuff and the Kane Massey and the Torvald nonsense. All this stuff, it's all a distraction. You're being distracted. So watch your backs. Something's up, and I'm afraid that we're going to miss it. So keep your eyes on the prize. Watch the front lines. Don't let this stuff distract you. Fly safe, watch your backs, and I will see you out there.